everybody. Welcome. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah! All right. Whoa, whoa. Obviously, I need to test some things. Crazy talk. Ah! And here I was thinking, hey, I'm like right on time. I'm happy and yay. And oh no. Oh no. Wow. We got some serious problems, technical issues. All right. I have to shut it down. Yeah, no, it's the face cam. It's like screwed up everything. Hold on. I don't know if I can, maybe I can just move myself. Okay, I can move myself. Yeah, well, we're gonna fix this afterwards. You're just gonna have to deal with lack of logos. Well, now I'm terrified to go to my next screen. Yeah, face cam. And I saved it yesterday. So there's no reason it should be doing this. Like I was like, here are my settings, here are my things, let's save everything. Very good, successful save. No, face cam is like, whah! This is ridiculous. No, because I solved one problem, Agent Marvel, but now I'm having other problems. I never dismiss user error out of hand, so I have to just look at what I'm doing and make sure that I'm doing it right. But this is hilarious. If I had to guess, it's like OBS and Facecam having moments, but that's just me. So anyway, welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and disembodied hands, Quindy, disembodied beard John, and a disembodied conscience Facecam that has no problem. I think my face cam is just possessed by Loki. I think that's just what I'm going with. I think the name of the face cam is now Loki. We're just going to acknowledge this and move on. What do you guys think? Is that a good, I think it's a pretty good name for the face cam. I think at this point it is. It is. So, all right, we're going to just go to, let's see. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Oh, no, it's perfect. So what the heck? Lordy sakes alive. All right, one thing. Hold on. I got one thing to do. One thing to do here. Oh, all right. There we go. Oh, it says, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. There we go. All right. Excellent. No. This particular thing is obviously not Luca. It's obviously not Luca. I mean, Loki, yes, Luca, no. I mean, there are plenty of things to blame on Luca, but this is not one of them, I think. I was hoping to have time to dig for my skeletal kitties this morning, but I did not. We're gonna have to figure out where to put the skeletal kitty. I'm probably gonna have to like cut its little paws off and stuff, or cut its base off its little paws, which risks cutting its little paws up. I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with the kitty if I decide to put one on. If I do, I'm probably gonna have to maybe chunk this out and put the kitty down here. It's something I really need to do. That's why we're gonna avoid this section actually for this particular session of streaming, and we're going to concentrate more on the back, because I know I'm not putting the kitty back here. So we've been using a lot of crumbled up cork to slowly build this base into something that's not obnoxiously regular. Sadly, the vase suffers from a very flat top, which is fine. I can work with that if I creep some of this powder up onto the top of it and sculpt it more like it's a stone. Which I kind of started on doing last time with some green. So I can work with that. Probably I'm going to build up a fill of cork over here today. We could just use gravel for back here, honestly, but if we've got the cork, I've got a ton of crumbled cork in this bag. I can just use that. So I think I'll probably just go that way. And as you can see, we did use green to kind of disguise this edge and suggest that it's stone. We're going to probably continue to do that. It doesn't work so much with this little guy up here, though, this little skull coming up, so I'm probably going to use some crumbled cork. Tom Meyer sculpted some little tiny rocks, you can see them there, around Mr. Skelly, but I feel like I need a little bit more than that, and I'm probably going to need to cover up that little bit of rock so that it's obvious Mr. Skelly is not crawling out of solid rock, he is crawling out of dirt. So yeah, that's where we're at. No, I'm not to that point yet. I mean, Luca hasn't irritated me enough to be the cause of all my problems, I guess. Lordy, if that's the case, I'm worried about you, Zachariah. Maybe you should stop. Maybe you need to acknowledge that you have a problem and stop watching Luca if he has become the source of all your problems. Had to adult. Yeah, I had to adult yesterday too. Had to get silly health testing stuff done. My resolution, one of my resolutions this year, is to get all my stupid health crap that I've been putting off, like, taken care of. So I'm gonna get out a bunch of my little crumblies here. We've got a lot of little nice little crumblies. We're gonna put Ed back here for a second and spill these guys out so that we have something to work with. Crumbles. It may seem silly to, like, keep this stuff, but that way I don't have to sit here and, like, I thought about using my other bag and just crumbling up one of these small pieces, and I'm like, no, I already have tiny bits of cork. I may as well just use them. I saved them for a reason, one presumes, and this is actually the best example of how I would use them, and I'm unlikely to do this again on a miniature for a while, since this is the only one I've done this degree of cork building on. Yeah, I don't know. There might be... Luca has irritated enough people that there might actually be a support group out there. Maybe you should look. Maybe Luca is vexing her too, yes. It's not my webcam, I'll tell you that. My webcam was very, very atrocious this morning. And I shot a video with Mr. Webcam yesterday, and it was fine. It was fine. I think, like I said, the webcam's name is Loki. I'm just going to call it that, and we're just going to run with it. We're going to assume that Loki is going to act up from time to time when we're not giving it enough attention. All right, so yeah, so we're going to leave this. We're going to continue this crumble edge down here. I'm going to try to blend that in a little bit better. There's a little bit of a gap here. I'm going to get my pin vise out of the way. And I want my knife, I think, or a pointer, so that I can spear little bits. A pointer's good. So I can spear little bits of foam. And honestly, or foam, cork. When you've got a pointy thing, and you could probably use a pokey tool for this if it's a fresh pokey tool, or you've sharpened it recently, or cleaned it off recently. But it just takes a little bit of pressure, and usually just like a little bit of static or a tiny bit of adhesion, because the cork is so light, it will like just, you can just pick it up with just a tiny bit of pressure. So you don't need to punch right through it to pick it up. You can be real delicate about it. But, so that's one thing that you can use here. I don't know, I could try using a pokey tool. I have a newly sharpened one. Oh, seriously, no, you just missed the intro. The intro was ridiculous. In fact, if you want me to restart the video, Quindy, I can. But yeah, so the pokey tool works as well to pick up the cork and place it, and that's what you need. I wish static grass was as obedient. Also, Quindy, take your allergy pill. I'm having to blow my nose. It's a rainy day here today. You think it's fine? It's comedy, if nothing else. And I imagine that any one VOD gets watched so seldom that most people won't even notice. All right. Hey, I mean, it's somewhat affection. It's just also eye-rolling affection. You can't tell me that your Loki does not, like, engender eye rolls from time to time. Come on now. All right, do I want glue on this one? Yeah, we'll use some glue. We can use glue. We can use our sculpting paste like we did down here. It doesn't matter. I've got my gel super glue to hand, so I'm just going to use that. I want gel because if I try to use regular super glue, it's just going to soak into the cork and it won't really be what I need it to be. That said, I do need to get more gel super glue. Let me just get that in there. Yeah, and then your pokey tool sticks to your cork, and then, because static, and then you're like, no! Then you rethink your comment about static grass. All right, so we're gonna try to move fairly fast today, but we're gonna be building up a little bit more around the edge here just to round this out a little bit. just to stick. So I guess I could just put some smaller stuff out here, and then we're going to do the other side. If I have time, I can do my green stuff. We're also going to put more debris around the top of Mr. Skelly, this little tiny Skelly here up on top. So it's just a process. And if this base wasn't so big and flat, and if I would have had a plastic base that would have fit it, we wouldn't have had to go through all this. But it is what it is, and that's the way we're doing it. Yeah, I use gel super glue for a lot of different things. Kai. Sorry, it's hard to read your name. Kiki, enough! Sorry, she's being bad today. Clawing at the, doing the clawing at the floor thing. I swear, our floors are just going to be dead. Now I know why you never have a hardwood floor and a dog. At least not a big one. But yeah, gel super glue works for cork. It also, I use it pretty regularly to stick metal bases down on, or plastic bases down on black bases if I want a nice border. I'm going to try to use flatter cork here around this guy. Since there's already little pieces of rock around him, I want really tiny pieces, really small, to kind of add to the little pieces he's got around him. But I mean, I like the gel super glue for some things. The thing to remember about the gel is that it's nice if you have kind of a gap and you want to stick stuff together. When you've got a really fine fit, though, then you need to use a more liquid glue. Something that fits very flush or fits very well, you generally don't want to use gel. Gel does have a weaker bond than regular super glue, or even the stuff I use, the Zap-A-Gap CA+, which is the mid-range gap filling super glue. So this medium is my Zap-A-Gap medium CA+, green label, and it's very liquidy. You can see it slosh kind of a little bit in there. But it's not super liquid. The super liquid stuff you can only use with really good fits. So we've got just a little bit of debris built up around Mr. Skeleton here. We're going to continue to cover up his and use... I'm not totally covering up the little rocks that are around him, but I'm building off of them. But yeah, gel has lots of uses. I mean, that's why I have gel at hand, and it also in addition to my Zap-A-Gap. If I'm doing something like pinning, where I'm using a small pin and it's very flush, then this stuff just won't cut it. But, or if I've got a very good fit, then I don't want to use this. But if I'm sticking a base to a base, or cork to cork, then this stuff is great because it's not going to soak in. And when I'm sticking a base to a base, I have a lot of flat area, so I'm not concerned so much with a weaker bond. Whereas with putting miniature parts together, I don't use the gel as much unless it's got big gappies and I need some filler in there. So we're just filling in Mr. Skelly. This is like surgical work. You can all just chill and ask questions. I know it's boring. It's just the way I do it. It's the way I would work with a base like this that's so featureless. Just trying to get a little bit more. And I'm gonna, as I mentioned, that means I need to cover up this stone a little bit here, so it's evident that Skelly's coming out of earth and not rock, so I need to get some glue over there. That's the other nice thing, is that I can build up a little bit of a layer of the gel glue here, and it won't fall, right? It won't drip. So, oh, the rain is here. Yeah, I like that rubber flooring stuff. I had it in my office at Reaper. I was so thrilled that I could get it. I always said that if I had a puppy area in the new house, it would be with that flooring. But as it turns out, our garage is a good puppy area if Kiki has puppies, because it's got sealed concrete, which is actually, I would argue, even better. The puppies will like it better. once they're of a certain age because it's cool. But yeah, it's good stuff. Twistodoma. And yeah, it looks fine. It looks good. But when we moved in, this house had hardwood, and so we're just we're not planning to sell the house, like, you know, for at least a decade or more, so we're just going to live with it pretty much, and, you know, when and if we decide to sell the house is when we'll have to redo the floors. And blame it on Kiki all along, as it totally is her fault. Just going to try to throw some... I'm going to use my flatter pieces for this a little bit. I might need to get a fingernail in there to get that cork off of my hand. Use some smaller pieces. That's not small enough, that is. That's too big. I thought that was a small piece, and it turned out not to be. So we're covering over a little bit of this this rock to turn it into more soil so that the skeleton's coming up convincingly. I do have a couple of gaps up front. I'm going to tack those too, just to get this little guy set. Morning, crows. I think when you have animals, if you're a long-time animal owner, you just get used to some damage. Whatever type of animal you have is the type of damage you have to deal with. I've never had a digger like Kiki, though. None of my other dogs were diggers. So it's like a new thing that I'm just kind of like, eyeball roll, really? There. That covers up most of it. There's probably a little bit right there. I'm being persnickety about this. I probably could ignore that, actually. Keep that little piece right there and I'll be okay, but eh. This is very chill work. Yeah, it's just pet owners, as pet owners, we get used to it. We're just like, all right, well, this is the price of owning my animal who I adore, so to heck with it. Can fix it later. There we are. That's better. All right, so we've got Mr. Skelly coming up out of a nice pile of erupting dirt now. That's cool. That's going to look good. This little piece is a little bit sticky up. Sticky up piece. Don't like it. All right, there we go. Alrighty, so now let's get some bigger chunks in here and build this this fall of earth around little Skelly down here. And I think I'm going to use some of my flatter pieces. I've got some real flat sheet pieces. I thought maybe that I might use this up here, but it's going to be hard to fit any cork in there except for little pieces. So I'm going to use that big sheet just to give me groundwork, and then I'm going to build the fall right here, but this can just be texture going out this way, and I can build up more around the edges. Boop. Now here, because I'm dealing with plastic base, I could use my regular super glue. It's still going to soak in, but that's not a big problem at that point. So I can use just my Zap-A-Gap. I probably want to use it in my correct hand so that I have control of it instead of glooping glue all over everything and thus making this a video or a VOD full of bloopers. An experience full of bloopers. So you don't need too much. A lot of people make the mistake of using too much super glue. Less is more. And I can just set that right in there. It will soak into the cork, but it's also gonna, there's such a small amount of cork here. It's so thin that I think it's gonna be fine. Using it on cork and cork together just doesn't work real well, just because it'll soak into your bottom layer and it will hardly touch your top. Yep. I mean, the bigger of a pin you get, like, I don't know if they have different circumferences. I mean, just get whatever you think would work. This one is pretty long. And bigger ones are going to be easier to find in whatever you keep them in, like if you throw one in your drawer. But I don't know. Take your best shot, seriously. Yeah, as long as it fits the dropper bottle. Yep. That's my thing is, like, I don't think I'd go much over a couple inches, just because bigger T-pins might be greater in circumference, and generally you don't want that. But, you know, we're any pin will do. I mean, a safety pin works. So it's not like there's a specialized tool for this. I've used so many different things as pokey tools over the years. Oh, I grabbed my Zap-A-Gap and I don't need that. I need so much stuff in the air, I'm constantly clearing my throat these days. Alrighty. And now that we're doing a bigger area, now we can actually get out our, instead of working with super glue in small increments, we can get out our modeling paste and use that instead. Oh, bye. And I tend to like a flat, but actually here, I think I'm going to use my my angled clay shaper, angled chisel, which is like this, to just glob down some of this stuff. So my modeling paste, for those who are not familiar, I use Liquitex flexible modeling paste. I have the non-flexible one too, but I think for this, I like the flexible a little better. It's a pretty versatile medium. It's very goopy. Reminds me of Woodland Scenics Water Effects, but it dries nice and hard, or at least it dries nice and firm. It does, you do tend to need to put a couple layers of paint over it to get it to really be solidly covered, because the first layer tends to absorb a little bit, I think. The nice thing about it is it has body, so you can build it up. I tend to keep a tissue around just to wipe off the tool rather than dipping it in water, although you certainly can do that also. Make sure that it's clean. But the nice thing about the silicone is it keeps, you know, so easy to wipe off, no matter what you're using with it. The one exception is super glue. Don't put super glue on your silicone sculpting tools. So now we'll take, and we have a little while till it dries. So hi, Lulaika. Crows, yeah, it's just, yeah, there's just lots of stuff. Lots of stuff in the way right now. You know, there always is. So I've got a nice big chunk of cork I can pop right there. Not enough room in there, not enough medium to pop that one in there, so I pop it around here. Then I can build up some stuff on top of it. And because this doesn't set right away, you have to be a little more careful around it than super glue, like until it sets up. So you can't, like super glue, this stuff's going to be solid right away. this stuff's going to take longer. But when you're not really in danger of like throwing stuff on top of stuff and breaking stuff off, and you're just like working slowly, it doesn't matter. That one is just not wanting to go in there. Get in there. Get in there. Help me build my cliff face, darn it. And as I mentioned earlier, the best way to seal cork is really to take like thin down white glue or wood glue. Could also technically use something like Reaper Brush On Sealer and put a layer of that. In the case of the glue, you want to thin it with water. You can even mix paint with it if you want to get a 2-in-1 step, and just put that over the top of the cork. And it helps to just put that layer over the top, seal it down, keep it in place so it doesn't become brittle over time and crumble off. And the good and the bad is that you can fiddle with it, right? You need to, like, if it gets out of place or it looks bad, you can always correct it with this stuff. You have time before it sets. Alright, that looks okay. I'm going to get more small crumblies right up next to him, I think. Yeah, but the difference is that bugging for the fairy dragon only means bugging until Ron does something. Whereas bugging, you know, for a painting big pokey tool means you're actually bugging freelancers who, like, you know, need to make time to do that thing in addition to all the other stuff that they do, crows. I mean, I don't mind the reminder every once in a while, but it's such a low priority. I don't even know... I mean, I assume Reaper would have to do it and sell it, because I don't have the capability to do that, nor do I really want to be dealing with yeah. Right, yeah, what Julie says too. They're a pain in the butt. And Reaper's handling it, so we'll have to handle it, because I don't think I can. So, it is what it is. Yep, well, that's Michael Proctor. And if that's, you know, life is not about fairness. Michael also, to be very straight with you, crows, Michael also stops at Reaper HQ when he's in the area. He has family down there. So they see Michael a lot more. It's not like I'm always there reminding people, and that matters. So it is what it is. Personally, it would be very cool to have it, but Reaper is always juggling so many plates that I'm not going to be the one to push it. Not right now, anyway. Maybe if you remind me... The thing to do is to remind me right before ReaperCon. Because then I'm going to see Ron. And I can say, Ron, what do we have to do to get this done? But right now, you know, remote, far away with lots of other things to do, it's not as much of a priority. Alright, so now eventually we get into a problem where we've got a very tiny little space there and it's hard to get the glue in. So I may just have to deal without crumblies there. Or I could do the capillary action trick. Alright, let's try that. So one way we could do this is we could stick a piece of cork down in that gap, find one that fits. then, and this takes advantage of the soak-in thing, we can actually use our fluid super glue. That's funny that small Scottish cat is. Maybe he just likes, maybe he's not into variety hour. I don't know. So, okay, so when you've got a fluid super glue, make sure that you have a fine applicator to put it on. But you can kind of drip it right onto that piece of cork and let it do the soak thing. I'll get closer, hold on. So you can see how the cork has gone darker there, and it's soaked right in. It's already hardening up because it makes it, it soaks into it and makes it very brittle. And I could probably stick another piece of cork in there and benefit from that adhesion. Okay. Looking all right. So definitely don't want to paint over that until that super glue is dry, which is going to take some time because it's just soaked into the thing. We've got more crumblies on this side. We don't really have, we have some crumblies in front of him. I think I'll put a few more. And then we'll build out this back area. Small Scottish cat just likes me. That's cool. That's good. I don't get nearly as many Twitch viewers as Luca does, so I'll take the adoration of the small Scottish cat instead. Or maybe he just likes that I sing. All right, let's see here. I need a flatter piece to sit down in front of that guy. I'm just kind of looking through my pieces, trying to get one that looks like it'll be a good fit without being too big, because I really don't want it to get like in the way of him, of seeing the skelly. Get in there. There. And now I can go smaller. I want to be a little bit irregular just so it looks cool. There's also those little sculpted rocks that I'll be painting the same way. So that's good. I like that. I'm going to also put a few bits down here just to blend this in a little bit more. I mean, technically so am I, but I mean, Michael's got a pretty light baritone voice. It's not like his voice is super deep. His voice is very similar to mine, I would think. Okay, get that glue in place. I mean, I did have a cat that absolutely ran from me in the past because I was too loud, so I don't know. Yep, that one's definitely not adhering. All right, glue time for that one. Or just leave it be. Take my fingernail to scrape that. The nice thing about that modeling paste is that when it's still soft, you can just scrape it right off and it's really clean the way it comes off. Doesn't leave any marks. You think cats can just be weird? I think the world can just be weird. Yeah, when I go and play with this a little bit more, it'll become more apparent where I need, like where things might look a little odd, but for now, the thing with super glue is if you do get it up on your base rim and you don't want it there, you really have to wipe it off quickly. So obviously this takes patience, and it's like putting together a puzzle piece, but you're constructing it and designing it yourself all at once. You're just looking for little cork bits that'll fit. And I do want to bring up the soil around this, crumble it over on the front of this. It's so smooth. Although there is a little bit of a stone shape there, so we can work with that. Make him crawling up onto a stone, a buried stone. We can vary it a little bit. I just don't want him crawling out of solid stone. Which I guess if skeletons are, you know, if they're magical, I guess, but when they're just bones. Okay, now you're getting too meta for me, Agent Marvel. Way too meta. Right, Papa? Are you weird? Yeah, you're definitely a weird Papa. She's clacking around back there, trying to decide where to settle, I think. I'm just going to put some glue in here so I can play with this area. Maybe a little bit up. There. I don't want to bury the sword, but putting little bits next to it is okay. There we go. So for the first time last night since I started CrossFit, I felt really good after CrossFit. Like really good, like when I used to lift weights but just did weight machines, it would just feel really good afterwards. It would be like not invigorating but kind of invigorating, but in a really gentle way. And you just feel good, like your whole body feels good. And that's how I was feeling after CrossFit last night. This is the first time I think I felt that way. It was notable. But that's happy. All right, so we've got some irregularities back here. We've got kind of a buildup here, kind of a flat area here. You'll be able to see it better once I paint it all in. Well, I started CrossFit right after my 51st birthday, seriously. So it would be in, I think, end of June. I think I started it right after my birthday. So like June 27th or 8th or something. So it's been almost 6 months. Part of it, though, is that it takes a while. If you're me, I tend to push myself over, like, far more than I should. And so it's been, the challenge for me has been to scale back where I'm not dying, but still getting a really good workout and still trying. Like, it's like this balance. And some people, you know, they just nope out and just go the kind of the lazy way as much as they can. And some people hit it really hard. And I always think I can do more than I can. And so I think that's a lot of it right there, is just learning to scale, learning to really scale it for yourself. That and just the exercises last night were some of my favorites. Like it was rowing. Which I really, of all the cardios, rowing is my favorite. All right, so what we're going to do is build out this area back here with a bunch of chunks now. We don't need it to, I don't mind if we've got a bit of a cliff here, but I want to get some texture down below. And I could just use sand and gravel here. It would work, it's just not the same texture, and I've got all this cork, so I'm going to use my flatter pieces of cork to do kind of what I did with that little sheet of cork up front, except we're just not going to build it up as much. So I'm going to flip over some little flat sheets of cork near here and show you guys my little flat sheets. Here we go. See these little panels here. And that's just where they've flaked off, like on the top of or bottom of a section. You've got these big flat ones. So this one is a little wide. I'll have to split it in two. But I have some other really long flat ones that will work. So this is a good use for these pieces, just to give a little bit of texture down here. I'll probably glue them down and then kind of rip them off where they're not where they're hanging over, unless I can get this one to part early. If I can rip it apart beforehand, we'll see. These guys are better shaped for what I need to do. I'm just looking to see if I have a really long, thin one. I have a couple of longer, thinner pieces that I could use for the end here. So we'll work with that. Oh, bye crows. Yeah, right. You forget. You forget that you aren't 25. Yeah, I like rowing a lot. So it was rowing, and then it was sit-ups, and then it was kettlebell squat cleans, which is essentially taking a kettlebell from the floor up to here, up to where you're holding it right here, and doing a squat over and over and over and over and over again. But I was smart this time, and I chose a lighter kettlebell, which, you know, meant that I could do the 50 squats we had to do, you know, without dying. It's just, like I said, it's just learning how to, like, not die. Like, learning to make the choices that mean you can do the exercise without dying. And it can be challenging to teach yourself to do that when you're not used to having to scale stuff like that. So we've got a little notch there, but I think that's too big. That's better. I'm just going to ignore that, Kodiak. I'm just totally ignoring that. But yeah, so it was all movements that were, okay, so now I need to find the non-flat side of this. That's a little wide. Yeah, I'm coming up with a lot of flats that are just a little wide. Maybe I'm just going to tilt it. I'm tilting. Ah! Just going to tilt it. Tilt it and smush it. And hold it a little bit until it sets a bit. There. But yeah, he has been going a little, I don't think easier on us is quite the thing, but it has been not a like murder workout lately. There were some serious murder workouts at the end of the year. Let's see if this works in there. I'm gonna have to cut it down. Okay, so if I need to break some of these down, I'm gonna grab a spade, something with a sharp point, pokey tool, pin thing, whatever. I'm going to hold it in place and try to chunk it. Just like I'm making an old style arrowhead, it's just chipping away at the edge. like so. That'll work there. Don't know if it'll work any closer. Yeah, it will. Okay. So there's my piece for right there. And I'm gonna grab this piece and look at the shape. It's kind of a long, skinny piece. I'm gonna see if I can modify this without totally ripping it apart. Sometimes you do rip it apart and you're just going to have to deal with it. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is you're gonna feel tied down with the pup until you start walking that pup and realize how out of shape you are, and then you're gonna be like me and go, I need to lift some weights. I predict this. If she is at all like Kiki. And Shilohs like to pull. They have that Malamute behind them way back, and, you know, they have that pull gene in them for sure. So, and they're big dogs. So, I mean, I was really scared for my back because I needed help when we got Kiki for sure. I wasn't up to it, so thus the dog that drove me to CrossFit. But yeah, it feels good to go back to get some weights in. When you've got that dog, it helps a lot. Like, I don't worry about my back anymore at all when I walk her, no matter how much she pulls. And no matter how unpredictable it is, I just feel I'm a lot more confident with it. So it was worth it. Ah, no, no. Okay, these guys are not wanting to stick. Well then we have to escalate then, apparently, because they're just not wanting to work. That guy's not sticking. So now that means I'm going to be flooding this area with super glue, and I'm just going to place stuff down and flood it, because that gel is just not sticking. A couple of these pieces are just not sticking down like I want them to. So I have a little bit of extra on the rim of the base there, so if I want that off, I need to grab it. Got it, Crowley. I can imagine you doing that cartoon bit. No, that's too big. There. Need to go smaller. Yeah, I mean, walking nicely is always a work in progress. Like, you can have a puppy doing that when they're really young, but as they get bigger and more enthusiastic about exploring the world, it can get a lot more fraught. Even a pup that has it, like, you know, adolescent dogs forget. It's like you go through this phase where they just forget everything you taught them, and you have to double down. All right, so I've got all this lined up. I'm going to take my fluid super glue, and I am honestly going to use capillary action to double down on this area and stick everything on. Since I've got all the placements done, I'm going to put a line right along the edge. And now, if I want to add more, I've got that wet super glue. It can be a little bit difficult to get it to stick going at it from this direction, but I might be able to. So let me just grab a couple of little bits and slot them in here and there and hope they stay. I do want a little bit of like undercut and variety here, so I'm gonna not fill in everything. Just little bits here and there if I feel like I can get the glue to soak them in and adhere them, like so. That wasn't too bad as far as how long it took. I think I want a little bit. This is okay. That's okay. No, actually I did an okay job of like kind of just making this the same kind of texture, so I think we're all right back here. Especially because it's the back of the model, not many people are going to look at it. I'm going to come back and do this bit back here, just fill in that gap. And I could leave it a little bit irregular, but there is a gap there, and so I kind of want to fill it with cork. Oh, good. Excellent, Cody. Yeah, they catch on fast. That's one of the good things about Shiloh's, is that they're usually really fast to house break. I'm glad it wasn't whatever she was dealing with the other day. I'm glad it wasn't a UTI. Good, good, good. Very happy. Kiki had some moments where she was like, yeah, oh, I need to go out. Boom. She was just fast. The Ninja P. I had to always keep her in sight. She took a long time to ask to go out. But otherwise she was good. Alrighty. I want to put some around the front of Mr. Skelly here. Unless I decide that that's going to be a rock, I guess. Just because of that. It's probably easier to make it a rock, although it's really flat on this side. I'm going to build out some of this. And then I think green stuff is in the offing. Since we're only at around 10:30, I'm going to finish green stuffing around the edge here. That'll let me keep this area where I can work with it if I find my skeletal kitties. But yeah, they are smart, those little puppies. They are really smarty paces. It's amazing how fast they learn. Ah, oh no, I sprang a piece of cork out. And we'll work with some smaller pieces here to make it scale down a little bit. Downside of CrossFit is not a lot of writing time. I have a lot to prep to make sure that the day goes fast and I can conclude everything in time to make dinner so that we can have dinner on time, but I'm still getting a little bit done every day. It's not as much as my inner like person who wants to get this book done wants. Alrighty. Hey, Roger. Yay for shirking, Zachariah. At least with meetings. Like, I don't shirk a lot of important things, but meetings. Meetings are not important. There we go. Alright. So that looks pretty good. I could still do a little bit in here. Why don't I still do a little bit in here? I don't like how this join is looking under the arm. But at least it looks like there's a bunch of like really loose like soil and rocks and stuff here for the skeletons to be crawling out of, which is what I wanted. And I like dropping that skeleton down to a lower level than Ed. Hello, Miniature Stem. We're doing painstaking cork construction because apparently I just want to be really anal today. How are you? It is Luca Day. People wanted me to blame everything on you earlier, Luca, and I resisted. There we go. Kind of build out. And that was just 3 little pieces, so that was an easy build out. I'm having fun. For me, this is fun. Oh, we do need more out there, though, don't we? We need a piece just right here. And I need a little bit. You should blame me, huh? He's great at taking it. Don't use the A word around Luca. Yeah, I know. I'm immune to butt jokes. You want to hear some good butt jokes? Get yourself a specialist for like colonoscopies and stuff. Then you will hear the best butt jokes. My old surgeon had the best. She was like, I have seen everything and none of it matters anymore, but I have this great joke. I've been lucky to have doctors with a sense of humor. There we go. It's kind of like bringing that together. I like it. Happy, happy. Bring just a little bit up here to kind of make it not look so regular. I just need a flatter piece for that. Yeah, there we go. There. Sweet. Okay, that looks nice and tumbled down. That looks nice. Let's back out. Alright, so cool. So we've got our falling earth here where the skeletons are coming out, and we still have a little skelly back here, and that's a problem because I wanted to make this more stony and less earthy. So we may end up bringing some of our cork over here and just leaving the part that Ed's standing on as rock. I may need to do a bit of sculpting in here, so that's why we're going to get out the green stuff next. We may come back to cork after a while, but I think this is the next step, is blending this base in on this side like I tried to do on that side. So let's put them down for a second. Oh yeah, yeah. My surgeon is actually the one who told me that colorectal doctors have the best butt jokes, and I believed her. This was the surgeon that would make Monty Python jokes as we were going down the hall to surgery, by the way. So yeah, I'm immune. You can go that way all you want. Okay, I'm just going to put away some of my other cork chunks here. We made a big dent in the amount of fragments that we had available by putting them all around, so I used the material. That's why I keep these little bags full of cork fragments. They're useful. All right, I'm going to go and grab my green stuff really quick, guys, so just hang on for a second, and then we'll begin sculpting. Kiki, that was just me getting up. Why are you so silly? Why is my dog so silly? Dog ever. You're so silly. Do you want to come say hi to the stream? Yeah? Do you want to come say hi? Do you want to come up? Hold on. There we go. Alright, Kiki, come on. Yay! Kiki sighting. The face. The face you are giving the camera right now. The face you are giving the camera. Yeah. Yeah, I figure if Luca's in the chat, then he can actually see you. Yes, what a monster you've become. Yes, not a tiny puppy anymore. So tiny, oh no. Face lickings. All right, dog sighting over. Good girl. She is anything but elegant. Alrighty, green stuff. But yeah, you can see how, maybe you can see why I was just looking at this thing and basing it with such trepidation. Because I knew it was going to be a pain in the butt. Just the way it is. Yeah, your future Kodiak. Yeah. And except his pup may be even bigger, because Yahtzee is not a slouch. She is actually a tall girl. Oh, and Aaron, those Netherlands dogs are big too. So, knowing how tall those dogs are, Yahtzee does have some smaller dogs behind her, but you could get a smaller girl, or you could get a monster. Really, it's up to the genes now. Yeah, Envy's a decently tall girl. Mm-hmm. Her mom, Star, was tiny. But Star was also one of like those dogs with like, when I first saw her when she'd matured, I was like, if this dog was like taller, she would be a perfect Shiloh, because her conformation was so good and she was just so beautiful. Bye, green users. Have a good day. Fuzzy dinosaur, here you come. Yup. That's why it's good that, you know, when you get the training in early. Because even though they're going to forget half of it on the way to getting to be adults, if you even have a little bit of groundwork, it's better than nothing once they get big. We're just mixing up our green stuff here, making sure our putty is nice and uniform in color. I think I'm going to need to get out a new green stuff. My green stuff is getting pretty old. I have a tiny bit of blue left, and it's starting to get a little bit less soft, so need to check and make sure we've got more green stuff in there and order some more. I think you can actually, I think the Army Painter stuff I got on Amazon, and it was perfectly good when I got it. Alrighty, this won't probably be enough, but we can start with it. We're just gonna make it into a long kind of snake shape. And we're gonna extend it around. And it'll want to stick to your skin more than it wants to stick to the cork. So you just gotta kind of press it down the base, get it to hang, and there we go. And then work it. I want a chisel. I probably want my longer chisel. I like this shape for rocks. I like both of these. Depends on if I'm doing a lot of narrow cuts or if I'm doing more general shaping. But I also like that this one has the big paddle on the end of it, which is great for just pressing the green stuff down into the area you want it to be. Except for some reason it didn't want to take. There we go. Now we're getting it. Once you have one end fastened down, guiding the other end around is much easier. And it connects up with the other one. That's perfect. And like I said, we're probably going to bring some cork up here over that little skeletal hand. Either that, or I just choose to totally cover up that little skeletal hand, which is absolutely possible. And I would feel only a little bit bad if I had to. I know Ed wants maximum skeletons and all, but So I'm just going to flatten this down and make it pretty flush with the top. When you're trying to blend green into an area, you definitely want to work it when it's fresh. As it sets up, it gets much harder to make it blend in to another area, because you have to pull it so thin, and as it wants to set up, it doesn't want to pull that thin. But up here we'll also have the option of using our gravelly cork stuff to disguise any edges, so it's not like it's a super emergency to get it perfect. That's good, Twistedona. Good to hear. But yeah, I want to leave a little bit of cork edging out here because I want to be able to have the option to rip that out. I can still rip it out, like if I use a knife to cut the green stuff, because it's pretty thin here. I could knife this all out if I needed to fit an undead kitty in here. Oh, the rain is back. I feel kind of bad. The rain comes to us and it's like nice and gentle, and that hits the rest of the country and it destroys you guys. Anybody lost power the last couple days? I know a couple of you were looking at a lot of snow. Yeah, you've already mentally removed that. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I forget that it's there because it's so tiny. And I like having the skeletons out in front of him more. So I'm seriously considering just puttying over it or basing over it at this point, because it's just annoying. And it's so tiny, it's really hard to make it show up. I'm going to curve my green stuff down and cover up part of my cork base here and there. Still not really sculpting this area, just kind of flattening it in and kind of looking at the random tool marks I'm leaving to give myself a guide as to what I want to do. Yeah, barely got an inch in Chicago. Well, that's good. Yeah, they got snow where my brother is in Wisconsin, which is just over the border from Illinois. Chicago's about an hour south of where my family lives. My mom is up there visiting, so it just figures they'd have a bunch of snow dump on them. She's visiting from Arizona. I needed to text her yesterday and say, didn't you come up, didn't you go down there to get away from this? Yeah, it's probably the one that's over me right now, Agent Marble. It seems to be sweeping across the country. Seems to be that's what it does. So yeah, blending in, when you see that kind of fade where the putty gets real thin and transparent, that's where you're going to have minimal artifacts where the two pieces connect. So I'm just like, since the little rock that suggested itself there, I'm just going to sculpt it in. Try to make a shape that looks good. Wherever I can suggest. I'm either going to muck it up and make it look like the cork, or I'm going to try to sculpt something that's more like rock, depending on how I'm feeling and where the area is. Need more water. In need of nap, huh? Man, David got up early today. I was just like, rawr. Like, I was going to grouse at him because he, like, opened the bathroom door, which lets light into the bedroom, which makes me go growf and wake up. Except that the second that he did it, my alarm went off. So it was like, I didn't get to growl at him about waking me up before my alarm. Which is really that's my grouchy moment. It's like, seriously? Because normally, like, there are times, I would say more than half the time, where he is still asleep when my alarm hits. But lately he's been better about not totally snoozing his own alarm. Apparently he didn't do snooze before I came along. Apparently I have induced him to snooze. So again, just kind of sculpting back here to kind of suggest a big piece of stone. Yeah, it was 39 this morning here. Just like not civilized. Sorry. So I'm linking up those two pieces there just to get that feel of having a bigger piece of stone here. And kind of sculpting that big rounded area there to suggest a big boulder coming out of the ground. And as I move around, I'm going to keep that in mind. Here I can put a crack in though. I need to stop looking at my Mini Factories emails because, like, they got me for 3 more models yesterday. It wasn't the biggest purchase I've ever made, thank God. That was over Christmas with the, like, 50% off sale or whatever it was. Too much action before sleep. That keeps you up at night, miniatures down. Well, I guess, unless you're that kind of guy who just, like, rolls over and falls asleep afterward. I don't know. We don't really want to get into this on the stream with Luca, do we? My wisdom score is low this morning, and I needed more sleepy time. Only after the fact am I going, oh yeah, it's Luca. I shouldn't be talking about anything suggestive at all, much less directly. Ah, boy. You're not that kind of guy, huh? I don't know. Like, Luca, if you were a character in a novel, you'd be the unreliable narrator, so I don't know whether I can trust anything you say. Although you have managed to keep your girlfriend so far, so I guess that there is some possibility that what you say is true. Alright, so just tamping that down, giving it a shape that's more like something I would see in a big stone. Something like that. But yeah, I picked up a cool sculpt of a cat girl, Tabaxi Monk, yesterday. I really like her. I'm like, need to find some time to print some things this weekend. You know, really, when no word is safe. Yes. Actually, no. We're just giving Luca... Oh, I don't even want to say that. Too many opportunities. You can imagine what I was going to say. To be himself. Giving Luca too many opportunities. Too many. Yeah, actually, I'm really happy with that shape. The way that it's layering and everything, and the way that it's blending into the cork, I'm really pleased with that, and the way that it's blended up here. So that's coming along. Actually, that came along much faster and easier than I expected. What do I do now? Maybe I show you guys the cat girl monk that I bought on my mini factory yesterday. She has a not safe for work version, which I'm sure Luca would be more into, but here, let me find it. Trying to find the, don't remember the character's name, so I have to go to the company, and then I've got to go look at their, like, most done things. Oh, you're just being worse, Zachariah. You're just, like, you're just being worse. Relevance, I want to search for popularity. And then maybe I can find... Oh, I bought this cool Tabaxi Druid too. So, she's really pretty. Like her, she's got a crescent moon staff. And then the other one I bought... Hold on. It's in the most popular, so it should be easy to find. The only thing I don't like about this is that they have a, like, digitally painted, like, one. Oh, it's not coming up. Maybe I need to go to mine. Oh, well, maybe you don't get to see the cat girl after all. Oh, there you do. Let me find the good version. Oh, that is the good version. All right. Except I kind of want to find the good... I want to find the version, like... There she is. She's cute. She's kicking, and she's on one toe, and she's got, like, spirit power coming up underneath her, and she's got the cool little lantern there, and the neat staff. She's really cool. That's the one I really want. Oh, really? You can go earlier? Yeah, I really like this cat girl. I think she's amazing. So, I want to print her at maybe 40 mil. Maybe 54. And paint her bigger. Yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah, maybe we'll do that then, Quindy. We'll just end a little early, and I'll make up some time. I think I went a little long earlier anyway, so, like, on Monday. God knows I go early on several days anyway. So, yeah, if Luca's ready, do you want to hand off? Are you okay with that? Having a little earlier Luca time? Having to deal with him slightly. Do you need a break, Quindy, before we do this? Not helping the Forbidden Universe 3D printer. Yes. Oh, you know I love you, Quindy. If I have to make up stuff to do, I can. I mean, I could go... The problem is that at this point I need to go rummage around in my closet looking for undead kitties. Because that's like the next thing I have to figure out is if I'm going to be able to fit a skeletal goose on this base. I know, Quindy, I know. I'm sorry. Pat, 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 pat. It's only this once. It's only this once. And just because I was efficient, I thought it was going to take time to do all this, but now I'm at that point where it's, where I'm really, like, done. So, all right. Well, thank you, Luca. Thank you for offering. I will accept your offer. So there's Ed, and for tomorrow, you guys. So Ed is moving right along. For tomorrow, we are back to Mouse Wraith. Mouse Wraith. And yeah, maybe we'll start doing her red jacket. Although there's very little of it, so we'll have to figure out what to do otherwise. But yeah, so yeah, we're to Mouse Wraith. Mouse Wraith. Yeah, I'm pulling skeletons out of my closet. Exactly. I think I still need to do a highlight on her eyes. Yeah, I do. But she just looks kind of like, she's just kind of like this again. Really, she's got that look on her, doesn't she? So yeah, so we'll be working on this tomorrow. We'll do her little coat. We'll do whatever else we get to. Really, she's such a little tiny model other than her head that it's it should be fast progress to get this done. So, all right, thank you very much. I'm going to hand you guys over to the tender mercies of Luca. And Quindy will hopefully not take up drinking and forgive me. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, Luca. And thanks, Quinty. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.